Hi everyone, so my name is Jennifer, I work here at Foolproof, and today I'm going to talk to you about a recent persona project that I worked on. So actually, as a few people have dropped out, is everyone aware of what personas are? They're a thing, okay, lots and lots of it. Okay, so don't have time to go into it, but yeah, they're not one person, they're not a group of people, but they're sort of realistic. I'm also not going to get into the debate about whether you should use personas or not, so there's lots of conflicting opinions, and I'm happy to have that discussion afterwards. And there's loads of different ways to do personas, so it depends on the project and the context and what you want to get out at the end. So how you get from A to B can really differ, but hopefully me talking you through how we did it gets you there a bit quicker without going backwards. So yeah, I'll explain how we went about this. So we did, for this project, it was 20 90-minute interviews, 24 90-minute interviews. So this equated to roughly about 6 days worth of research. That is a lot of research. That's really hard. You sort of get halfway and can't remember who you spoke to. And 90 minutes is a really long time, so that's not normally something we do anyway. You do certainly see a bit of participant fatigue towards the end, so you just have to work out how to liven your sessions up. And this project was all about how customers interact with a specific brand. And this was interesting because customers did not have to interact with this brand to complete their task, so they could go and talk to other brands. So what we therefore had to do in the sessions was look at the broader context, work at, view the bigger picture, what other things influence their decisions, and ultimately understand why they choose one brand over another. So this is actually one of my notes from one of my sessions. And I sort of did it in a bit more of a mind map style, and this was really useful because then I could see all the different influencing factors, what is the wider picture, I could see the relationships between these things again, which is really crucial to understand why customers did things a certain way. And it's also, if you think about personas, it's really, really key to understand core customer needs and their core drivers and what was that thing that really made them choose that way instead of another. And again, the other nice thing about doing a mind map is it meant I could drill down, I could see how all these elements connected. What I then did at the end of my sessions was, so these core needs and core drivers are the basis for your personas. So what I did at the end of my sessions was I went through, and where I had found those, I highlighted them yellow. Because then when I did my analysis, it's so much quicker to look back on. So from all those sessions, I had a lot of data. This is only half, I had a little project space, this is only half of my notes, but we had a little room covered in post-it notes, and all those bits of yellow text that were highlighted became a post-it note. And this was really fun to do a bit of an affinity mapping process, so I could group all these post-its, see what themes came out, to really understand the findings, like if things are true, if things are outliers, that's really important to know. The different coloured post-it notes here are customer segments, and as you can see, the themes resonate between segments, and that's really good for persona work. That means you've probably done your work well. So the next step, after we grouped them, was to turn these groups of themes or groups of bits of data into insight. So this is a real example of those post-its. So for example, I like hearing about others' issues and how they solve them. I like knowing how other people are dealing with issues on projects. And you can see how their driver behind saying things like that is probably, I need real examples of projects so I can learn from them. So I had, that picture of that project space, I must have had hundreds of post-it notes. And we turned it into 20 or 30 of these yellow core themes. Now 20 to 30 is still a few too many to work and turn into personas. So we were then able to group those again into themes, into commonalities, and we had something that might look a bit like this, so learning from others as a group. So these groups of core needs did become our personas, so that was really interesting. So these core groups of themes or behaviours, turned into these personas that we had here, and this was really useful then because this is still quite high level, it's good to do that, don't jump too far ahead. Because then I could compare them and validate them. So I compared them against one another to make sure they were distinct, to make sure there weren't any duplicates. I was then also able to look back at my data, which was still up. It was really useful just to be able to turn around and see the data, just to make sure I hadn't missed anything. There weren't any people that didn't fit this model. And actually in this case we did have that, because here's 5, I ended up having 6, so we were able to validate that. So at the end, we created 6 personas. Now our personas were a bit different to your normal personas because they do not have a name or an age, and we've done this on purpose. So our client was probably very immature in their UX, very immature in their understanding of their customers, And actually they asked to not have those details on because they did not want their internal staff to confuse these with customer segments. So by doing this, and we've just highlighted their key driver, which is in this case, this is a way of learning so I can further my career, or this helps me give something back and help other people. So that's their core driver, the core thing that if you fulfill, you will make them happy, which we've highlighted here. But as for the rest of the persona, they're fairly standard. It's got common information you'd expect, like my needs, my pain points, which are ultimately the thing that designers can action and use and work with. And as you can see, yeah, we designed them up. These ended up in A2, and it meant the customers, client could put them up in their office, and any internal staff could sort of walk around, walk past this, see this, and think about their customer on their way to their next meeting. And that's everything. Thank you very much.